Hello.
San Francisco Homicide. I'm Inspector Getz. This is Inspector Monahan.
Yes?
Is Helen Hudson here, please?
Well, I'm her assistant. Can I
If we could have just a couple of minutes of her time.
All right, come in. This way, please. Dr. Hudson, this is Inspectors Getz and Monahan.
He's escaped again, hasn't he?
I'm sorry?
Well, is he out or isn't he?
I'm not following, ma'am. We'd like to talk to you about your phone calls to our office.
Phone calls? I didn't make any phone calls.
Well, isn't this nice? Would everyone like to sit down? Shall I make some coffee?
Give me my stuff, Ed.
Joyfully.
I, talked to you this morning, Dr. Hudson. Do you remember?
Of course I remember. There's nothing wrong with my memory. You called me a crank.
Yes, ma'am.
Well, I suppose I am. I got a couple of crank calls myself. That's why I thought Darrell Lee Cullen must have gotten out of prison.
Ma'am, if Darrell Lee had gotten out, I assure you, you'd be the first to know.
Well, good. I'm relieved.
I hate to sound like a broken record, but you called us, Dr. Hudson?
Yes. I did. I'm sorry it won't happen again.
You mind telling us why?
There's a serial killer out there who strangled 3 women. He's gonna do it again.
Even if there's a chain of evidence connecting these murders, nothing's been reported in the press. How do you connect them?
I don't know. 20 years of clinical experience and having serial killers on the brain.
Would you work with us on this?
You're kidding, right?
No, ma'am.
A modern-day remake of Matthew Vaughn's Lay a Kick, a Coen Brothers end up with Timothy Chalamet. A Citizen Kane prequel, a Midnight Cowboy sequel, Alvin and the Chipmunks, even other squeak. There's so many new ways to revisit Sideways, but a graphic novel is how we choose to update. But we still hold fast, you can't change the past on the Ruined Childhoods podcast.
On our last C episode, we dug up the mostly forgotten motocross counterculture racing film C.C. and Company, in which Joe Namath plays a biker gang member who attempts to break free from the crew in the name of motocross racing and love. The object of his affection? A sexy marketing rep played by Anne Margaret. An immigrant from Sweden, Anne Margaret Olsen began releasing albums and acting in films and television shows all in 1961. Her first movie, Pocket Full of Miracles, scored her a Golden Globe nomination for the category New Star of the Year Actress. She would later receive Golden Globe nominations for her performances in theatrically released feature films Bye Bye Birdie, Carnal Knowledge, and Tommy, based on the 1969 album by The Who. Aside from Anne Margaret, Tommy featured an all-star cast including appearances by Elton John, Eric Clapton, Jack Nicholson, Tina Turner, and the members of the band The Who. The movie was critically acclaimed and scored many major award nominations, though the only win was Anne Margaret's Golden Globe. Tommy was directed by flamboyant Brit Ken Russell, whose credits also include Altered States, Women in Love, and Crimes of Passion. Released in 1985, Crimes of Passion received subpar reviews and only had modest box office success, decidedly due to massive edits that would bring the MPAA rating down from X to a modest R. The film is the story of an electronics salesman and surveillance professional who is hired by a fashion house cracking down on employee wrongdoing, but instead becomes involved in the underground sex worker scene. The film stars Anthony Perkins and the enchanting Kathleen Turner, who is just coming off the success of Body Heat, The Man with Two Brains, and Romancing the Stone. In 1987, Kathleen would be nominated for the Academy Award for her performance in the Francis Ford Coppola comedy Peggy Sue Got Married in the titular role. Unfortunately, she lost to Marlee Matlin in her role in Children of a Lesser God. Luckily, Kathleen was in good company, losing alongside the likes of Sissy Spacek for Crimes of the Heart, Jane Fonda for The Morning After, and Sigourney Weaver for Aliens. Born into the entertainment industry, Susan Alexandra Weaver is the daughter of NBC president Pat Weaver and actress Elizabeth Ingalls, and niece of radio, television, and film star Doodles Weaver. Sigourney began her film career in 1977, appearing briefly in Annie Hall, but would turn heads just 2 years later, starring as Ripley, the sole surviving badass of Ridley Scott's Alien. Aside from starring in the first 3 Alien movies, Sigourney would continue to wow audiences in films such as Ghostbusters, Gorillas in the Mist, Working Girl, Dave, The Ice Storm, Galaxy Quest, Baby Mama, Avatar, and this week's film, Creating Starfighters. This is Ruined Childhoods, and on this episode, we're talking about the 1995 thriller Copycat, the story of a traumatized serial killer expert who teams up with the cops to bust a madman replicating the murders of some of America's most notorious mass murderers. Dan, in 2013, there was a horse born and given the name Copycat. Which actress do you think his mother was named after?
Which actress? Okay, so wait. So in 2013, okay, hang on. I'm trying to do the math here. So, okay, so the horse was born in 2013. So...
the horse named Copycat was born in 2013.
Right. Yes. So I'm guessing that, I realize I know nothing about, I'm like, when do horses have babies? I'm making the assumption,
right.
But like, what is the lifespan of a horse? So 10 years, like, do they start? So like this could...
Yeah, I think it's, if I'm remembering correctly, and I did not write this down, but I feel like it was a mid to late aughts birth for the mother of Copycat.
Okay, so the mother of Copycat. I'm going to guess, and I took the scenic route because I guess this is where I was going. But it's the mother of, because I was like perhaps Harriet Connick Jr. I'm just guessing some connection to the cast of Copycat, but I'll guess
no connection to the cast of Copycat.
No connection to the cast of Copycat. Okay, so no connection whatsoever. So who is the mother of Copycat named after? Let's see. If it's no connection to the cast of Copycat, I'm eliminating other film titles of like it's not The Piano, it's not other like Holly Hunter, not Working Girl, which would make sense. I don't know her history, but sure. So, okay. So it is named after, can I have a hint, please?
Okay. This actress was, very actively working during the time of Copycat's release in the mid-90s.
Okay. Actress was working during actively. Is it Sandra Bullock?
No, it is not. This is an actress who is still actively working, yet less so in acting roles.
Okay. Is it Bette Midler?
No, but you're closer than Sandra Bullock.
Okay. Like generationally closer?
Yeah.
Is that where we're at? Okay. So they work. Is it Deborah Winger?
No.
Okay. Was I like thematically closer with Bette Midler?
You were thematically closer with Bette Midler. I will say that
is it
whoever named this horse has a sense of humor.
May I ask if this is an actress who you recently discussed on a podcast revisiting movies? Is that
Rediscovered Movies?
Rediscovered Movies. I'm sorry.
Yes, Dan, it is.
It is Whoopi Goldberg.
Indeed it is.
Wonderful. John, I was, I was funny because I was thinking about it because I was listening to your episode on Eddie.
Oh, yeah.
And
it's fun, right?
And was thinking, we should definitely mention something about it. Did not think the opportunity would arise so organically.
So let me ask you, listening to the episode that I recorded with the incredible Nomfinella Malloy, if you're listening, shout out, or watching, shout out. Did it make you want to watch the movie Eddie?
Yes. Yes, I knew you were going to ask me that. And yes, it has made me want to watch the movie Eddie. And I, of course, was saved by because it's a recent episode release. And we are advised towards the beginning that it is not currently available on streaming. You
can watch it in its entirety on YouTube.
On YouTube. Yes, that's right. She did mention that. So yes, I am definitely interested in watching Eddie. It has some great, you make this point, not to spoil, it has a phenomenal cast of wonderful people who I enjoy.
Yeah.
Including Whoopi Goldberg, most importantly Whoopi Goldberg. Right, yeah.
Frank Langella, her at the time beau.
Yeah. Frank Langella, Dennis Farina.
Mm-hmm.
who I enjoy. So yeah, I enjoyed I enjoyed listening to the conversation, and it definitely made me want to watch the movie. So you can enjoy the podcast without seeing the movie. I can verify that. But definitely, I had, a lot of those moments as, whenever I'm listening to a podcast that I enjoy where I, kind of almost want to jump in here and there with something. Of course, having seen the movie, but just thinking about, and I actually haven't finished. I'm still, I still have a little bit left to go in the episode. I haven't finished it yet, but I'm interested to hear. I have a feeling that some of the things I was thinking are going to be mentioned and were foreshadowed. So some things about the movie. So I'm excited. I'm excited to finish it, and everyone else should check it out.
Well, let me ask you this too. So, this is episode 305. I have to turn around and look behind me. It's episode 305. So we've done 304 episodes of this show. Was it strange to hear me talk about movies with somebody else?
No, honestly, no, because okay. I mean, just because this isn't the first podcast you've ever hosted. I know it's the first movie specific, right. Mm-hmm. But no, it was cool.
Groovy.
Yeah. And it wasn't like a movie that, wasn't like you were talking about The Last Starfighter. Right?
No, but I'd love to. If any podcasts out there want to talk to somebody about The Last Starfighter, either one of us would be into it.
Oh, absolutely. Yes. Clearly that's how we open our episode. We say greetings, Starfighters. So, yeah. But I was, definitely, it definitely made me want to go and watch Eddie.
Yeah, and speaking of
and listen to more episodes of the podcast. By the way,
absolutely.
That too.
I'll be in the next season as well. I won't say any. Glorious. I won't say any more. But speaking of movies with completely stacked casts, Copycat.
Hell yeah.
You
don't even need to go. All due respect to everybody else, you don't need to go below the title for this cast to be stacked.
I know.
Holly Hunter, Sigourney Weaver. Mid-90s. I mean, I can't even say at the peak of their powers, just still, because you look at both of them, like you mentioned, Sigourney Weaver from 1979's Alien, we even forget about things like you mentioned Baby Mama, which she's so funny in Baby Mama.
Well, and I wouldn't say that that's like a standout movie or performance, but it's a lot of fun, and it just kind of shows the breadth of her, skills.
But Working Girl, is tremendous. Gorillas in the Mist. Mm-hmm. So Sigourney Weaver and Holly Hunter are both actresses who have tremendous range, and both of whom we've talked about here before, but for this movie, and it's more at the time. So I did not see this in the theater. I'm sure I rented it as soon as it came out. And mid-90s was a great time for serial killer movies, and this movie, I think.
Well, that's something I wanted to talk about. Yeah, but go on.
Oh, so then, all right, I'll say what I was going to say. But I didn't. This also came out. I was a freshman in college. I didn't have a car on campus. I wasn't going to school in a city where I could easily get to a movie theater. If I was going to the movies, it was there had to be plans made, and it was there were certain movies that fall that I went to see. Either friends of mine who were. Friends of mine from high school who were, not far and had cars could come and pick me up and take me places. Mm-hmm. But I wasn't going to the movies as frequently as I had been. Otherwise, I might have seen Copycat in the theater. This was totally would have been in my wheelhouse, but it wasn't not until looking back at it that I realized, and looking at the films in that era and of this genre in that era, how this stands out and how this really takes a lot of steps forward in this genre that I don't think were as appreciated at the time. I think in a lot of ways, this is a
100%.
film that has aged tremendously well, especially when you look back in the context. I mean, 30 years, it came out October 27th, 1995. We're on the eve of the 30th anniversary of Copycat.
Yeah.
But
amazing.
And, you know, it did well when it came out, and it got good reviews. It's got a solid, you know, fresh on Rotten Tomatoes. It's
deservedly so.
Right. But it wasn't one of those that like people were, so like the fall of 1995, and 1995 is a weird movie year, but like the most talked about movies that fall are like Seven, and you will talk about that, I'm sure. The Usual Suspects. Everything else is like, what else from that year? Like Apollo 13, Braveheart.
It's a transformational year, especially when it comes to thrillers like this.
Yeah.
And, you know, this is clearly coming off of the heels, you know, a bit of a time later, but Silence of the Lambs really, you know, caused a big spark. And this is, you know, following in its wake. And the mid 90s and this is just to go on what you were saying before about, you know, serial killer stuff. It's like, there was, right, you know, like 92, 93, 94, like around this time, there was definitely an uptick in interest in serial killers and serial killer media. And we see this, you know, we also see this in 1995's Virtuosity.
Right.
Sid 6.7 is a blend of all these different serial killers.
Yeah.
You know, just thinking about movies that incorporate, you know, actual real serial killers.
Even,
you know, Copycat does that.
Even
and then
I was even within the 90s, I think about 1999, Summer of Sam.
And Summer of Sam, just a few years later. And to what you're saying about Seven, it's like, this is a fictional serial killer. And that movie, it's like if Copycat was made a year later, it would be trying to capture a lot of that style that Seven had really set into place, because we really saw so many copycats of Seven following that. What year was like Along Came a Spider? I feel like that was another one.
Oh, all the Alex Crosses. Those were those were like late 90s, and you had like the similar like Morgan Freeman thrillers like High Crimes and all that. It was like late 90s, early 2000s. I feel like I think the Bone Collector was 98.
Bone Collector.
I saw that. I remember seeing that. Like the 98, 99. A lot of those. So the 90s were really
And even though Copycat, you know, it's so enjoyable to watch.
Yeah.
It's and there are so many great things about it. I wouldn't say it's an amazing movie, but
it's not Silence of the Lambs.
It's not Silence of the Lambs, but it's extremely watchable. We've got Harry Connick Jr. in there playing against type, which is a really fun thing to see.
Which was this his first
creeper?
Was this his first movie? No. It just occurred to me. This might
Memphis Belle maybe was his first.
Oh right, yes, Memphis Belle. Yeah.
So he had been doing. I mean, this was kind of like peak Harry Connick Jr. showing up in all sorts of movies. Wait, did he have a rom-com with Sandra Bullock?
I think that was later. Yeah, he did. He had a Hope Floats. Was that
Hope Floats? Right.
Yeah, Hope Floats. He had that. Yeah, that was a few years later. No, but this was
Independence Day was 96.
Yep. Well, I think Copycat was really kind of the big, like, we're going to turn, I think like Memphis Belle was kind of the like, hey, let's take a singer, because that's what, it's a World War II movie, and they always had, they put the singer in there. And did he even like do like when they were at like a USO thing, it's been such a long time since I've seen it.
I haven't seen it since it was out in theaters.
Oh my goodness. Wow. 35 years ago.
Yeah.
So, but I think this was really the like we're gonna put Harry Connick Jr. in movies, and he's gonna act now.
Oh yeah, yeah, and he's really great. We've got Dermot Mulroney,
of course,
being charming and delightful.
Yeah.
I keep on forgetting this guy's name.
Will Patton.
I look at it. Well, Will Patton's fantastic, but I was going to talk about John Rothman.
Oh, John Rothman.
Who plays Andy, who is always delightful. He was in Ghostbusters. He's been in like a ton of things that, blink and you'd miss him. Mm-hmm.
Yes. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Right.
And that's the thing is like, he's such a good good character actor that like you even forget the actor's name because he just dips from one personality to the next so flawlessly, and you just, I don't know, blink and you'll miss it.
Oh, that's right. He's the library guy from Ghostbusters.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, wow.
And he shows up in Ghostbusters. Was he in Frozen Empire? Maybe.
Oh, yeah, I think so, because I think they go back and yeah. They brought
delightful
back
that he's still working at the library, by the way.
When you're, well, I mean, that's you commit to that.
Yeah,
the library is a
the
life.
library sciences are a great career.
Hell yeah, support your public libraries.
You got ghosts.
Even if you have ghosts, though, who
I guess especially if you have ghosts.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
He was really fantastic in that Tig Notaro's series, One Mississippi. He played her stepfather. He was really great in that.
Oh, okay.
Very different type of role.
Cool.
And I don't know if he was necessarily my favorite I wouldn't have maybe picked him to be Andy in this, but what's his character's name, Andy?
Yeah.
I'm like second guessing myself
He's like
with him.
Sigourney Weaver's, he's Helen's.
Yeah.
Yeah, like, I don't know, housekeeper.
Assistant.
Yeah.
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 Yeah. Will Patton, like you were saying, I always love seeing Will Patton. He's fantastic. Another great character actor.
He's good at doing like kind of beleaguered, and you're like, whenever I see Will Patton in something, I feel like his character just needs like a week off from whatever he's doing.
Armageddon. Mm-hmm.
Like
Minari.
Like a lot of deep breaths. A lot of He has a wonderful career as an audiobook narrator. Oh, I bet.
And so he's done so many like incredible audiobook narrations that a lot of people really know him for his work there. So great career in all different aspects. And also William McNamara as Peter.
Oh yeah.
Who I don't know if I loved him, but he did what he had to do.
It wasn't as much him. It was more of I felt that the choice to go with having the serial killer just be this like preppy, which is so. Right. If you look at a lot of these true crime cases, it's not. I mean, yeah, you have your David Berkowitzes in there, but you've got these really charming. Was it Ted Bundy who was really
blends in,
charming and yeah, like
and I guess this all just goes to prove Helen's point at the beginning of the movie when she's giving a lecture.
Yeah.
And Dan, why don't you give a little synopsis so that we can just like really get into this?
Perfect. Sometime after the attempted murder of criminal psychologist Helen Hudson, she has become an agoraphobic recluse in San Francisco. But when a string of murders catches her attention, she contacts the police to offer help capturing what she believes is a serial killer on the loose, replicating scenarios from some of the most evil mass murderers throughout history. But what Helen doesn't realize is that she is not only at the root of his course of destruction, but also his final intended target. Sigourney Weaver plays Helen Hudson. And we have as Inspector M.J. Monahan, Holly Hunter, and her partner Ruben Getz, played by Dermot Mulroney. Daryl Lee Cullum is played by Harry Connick Jr. He is the one who attacked Helen in the beginning of the movie,
right?
Which I want to come back to that in a minute. And then we had J.E. Freeman in there, another well-known recognizable character actor as Lieutenant Quinn, and Will Patton as Inspector Nicoletti, who's also like Monahan's ex in this, or
right?
Yeah. So Yeah. So, John, what are some of the things that you that you really enjoyed about this?
Oh my God, how long do you have?
Like, well, what? So, like, what? Yeah, what are like your big like your top three?
Well, I mean, Holly Hunter, first of all,
Of course,
always so good,
Always.
and and paired with Sigourney Weaver, where they have this dynamic where they're not like on the same page. One is always kind of skeptical of the other, and they're never really like fully on board with each other until the very end.
it's
and
the
then
buddy.
it's just like
the buddy cop
Yeah.
relationship. Yeah.
Well, yeah, and it's great to have the character of Ruben, MJ's partner, to kind of be the kind of the glue that's keeping them stuck together. And I will say, I don't know if I necessarily loved the idea of there being some sort of like romantic will they, won't they between him and both
Yep. Unnecessary.
Helen and MJ. Unnecessary, but I understand that, like, I don't know, studios like to have that thing. And I bet that there was some deleted scenes that went into that more, because I saw a press photo that had Dermot Mulroney and Sigourney Weaver like really close.
So
And so I'm wondering if they shot something but cut it out that actually implied them getting together.
And an interesting note to this, and I mean, I read this on the Wikipedia page, so it must be true, but also like the director, John Amiel, is, quoted in talking about how the original screenplay had Monahan as a man, and that there was a romantic subplot between Monahan and Hudson, and that
Which I'm glad they didn't do.
well, right, yeah, and he felt that changing the character of Monahan to be a woman and eliminating that, it also made this movie about, and this his words, women dealing with violence against women rather than exploiting violence against women for entertainment, and that speaks so much to what makes this movie work. But anyway, I just wanted, to that point. But yeah, I'm sure the studio had some things to say.
Well, I really, and just to kind of continue on my list of things that I appreciated. So I really do like that this is a movie that showcases intellectual and really, talented women. And when I say talented, I mean like, MJ's a talented cop. She's great at what she does. It's completely professional, but they never like, drill it down too hard where it's just like boy, feminist dribble. Not that I ever would say anything like that, but like they never get to the point where anybody would say that, is what I'm saying, is like it's just like, this is just the way it is. This, and we go into this movie seeing Helen Hudson. She's this brilliant, well-respected criminologist specializing in serial killers. She's giving this talk in front of this, lecture hall filled with people. It is a, probably publicized event. Like there's real stuff going on.
Yeah.
There.
It's her book tour. She's on book tour, right?
Yeah, she's on a book tour. That's right. Yeah. And, and like as far as like the men in the movie go, Will Patton's character is this pathetic, jealous, to the point that it gets in the way of everything and literally, ruins somebody's life. And we have Andy, who is, base level helpful, but ultimately has his fatal flaws. And, that ends up being a big detriment. Anyway, the police chief or captain or whatever he is, he's always, too nervous to like say, whoa, we're not saying this is a serial killer. Like, he's,
the mayor's on his ass,
he's kind of
right?
held back by something.
Isn't the mayor on his ass? The mayor's got to be on his ass.
The mayor's always on his ass.
Yeah.
So the male characters, and those are the people who aren't the murderers. They're the one, and they're very weak. And then for Ruben, it's his weaknesses that he's too nice. You know, he comes into this police station because he gets put on the Chinatown case, and everyone's screaming and everything, and he comes in and he's bringing donuts for everybody, even criminals. He's just there to be a nice good guy. He's trying to be a good cop. And that's his flaw, is that he's...
Oh, you know right away. Even if you haven't seen it before, you're like, oh, boy.
I know.
Well, and if I can make a parallel here is because what's funny is that always the constant Dermot Mulroney or Dylan McDermott, and Dylan McDermott like plays the same role in The Line of Fire, and it's like the same thing, like he's gonna bite it.
Right. Oh my God.
So, and that's like 2 years before this. So,
yeah. Yeah, I definitely struggle between the two of them, both of which played opposite Holly Hunter, Leo Fish.
Right. That's right. Yeah.
Home for the Holidays.
Yes. Both charming.
So charming.
Yep.
So charming. Leo Fish.
Leo Fish. Yeah. Damn.
And then let's see, what are other things that I really like about this movie? I thought that it's really well paced. It never gets to a point where you're just like, ugh, come on already. Like, nope. It moves.
Brisk.
It's exciting. All of the things that the killer does, I think they never overstay their welcome. Even when they kind of go into the kind of cheesier territory, like when he sends them like the song lyrics, it's just like, okay, we do something kind of fun with that, and then we move on.
Yeah.
And I appreciate the pace of the movie, and never going into a territory also where it's just like so over the top violent. Even though there's plenty of violence and gore, it's never so gratuitous that like you have to look away.
No. That's not the point.
Yeah. Dan, how about you? What were some of the things that were highlights for you?
Well, let's see. So, just kind of seconding everything you said, and, definitely had the same note about the romantic subplots, the cast, and just in terms of, so, I mean, we think a lot about the legends of the business and the screen legends. And of course, with the recent passings of Robert Redford and Diane Keaton, you just kind of think about like, all right, who are the other names kind of in that orbit, in that generation? And I don't think Sigourney Weaver or Holly Hunter pop up in those conversations nearly as often as they should. When I think about the range of both of them, I want to say especially Holly Hunter. The range that we've seen in her career. And of course, like, yes, she's had her work with the Coens, with Oh Brother and Raising Arizona. But also you look at The Piano.
Right.
Is such a different performance, and Home for the Holidays.
Broadcast News.
Which, my God, Home for the Holidays came out weeks after Copycat. That's amazing.
That's true.
Broadcast News. It just, the list goes, it goes on. And yeah, like the same with Sigourney Weaver. You look at things like Working Girl and Aliens, and Alien, and I'm trying to think of what else. Ghostbusters.
Yeah.
The other Holes, she pops in that, the adaptation of the book Holes. So a young adult classic there. So just the range, and like, wow, they have contributed so much to cinema, and the legacies of these women are
something that's also interesting about them that I think, I mean, I would say less so with Diane Keaton, more so. Well, I don't even know. Well, okay, I'm gonna still go on this path, but like they live very private lives. Like you don't really hear. There's nothing that's ever been like tabloidy about them. They go in, they do the job, they do it amazingly well, and then they retreat until they show up in the next thing. They don't do a lot of press.
No.
They just kind of like I don't know. They do their jobs, and they do them really damn well.
That's another really good point, is that, yeah, we really, it does impact how you see them in roles. And when you don't see so much of them in their lives, and they have those private lives, it does allow them to disappear more for an audience, especially more recognizable actors. Yeah. Which is what was so remarkable about performances, especially Sigourney Weaver in something like Gorillas in the Mist, or Holly Hunter in something like The Piano. So, anyway, I'm mostly right now just doubling down on everything you said. Something else I really enjoyed in this movie, and I think 1995 was a big year for it. You mentioned Virtuosity earlier, which actually goes farther than what I'm going to talk about, but it was also the year of the net. So we have our, 1995, the use of the internet, and how the killer uses that to send the threats.
Yes. And it's it's silly, but it's like the version that Hollywood is showing us of the internet, in the same way as like the net. Yeah.
But at that time,
back it up to tape.
Yeah. Back it up to they actually
something that doesn't make any sense now, but at the time you'd be like, I think I know what that means.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. It makes perfect sense. But I really, I like how they at least try to like work technology in and think like, okay, how does this serial killer, because this is kind of his stamp now, I guess.
Well, something that also, and I don't know if it was meant to kind of be red herring or something, but I assumed, at least when I first saw it, that there was going to be some sort of connection between the online chats that she was having with her chess games and the killings, and the killer.
Yeah, no, I think that I remember, kind of thinking the same thing. I think that was, again, a little red herring-y. Though they really don't, they do let you know, pretty early on who the killer is. Mm-hmm. Because it's not like it's someone who's part of their orbit. They're not like, it's not someone they know.
Right.
So it's like, that's not part of
it's a Darrell Lee Cullum fanboy. And that's all there is to it.
Yeah. So it was, I thought that part was really interesting. I thought they did a good job of making him kind of threatening.
The killer or Darrell Lee Cullum?
Oh, sorry. The killer, Darrell Lee Cullum, definitely. He's. I
don't think that they assumed that there was ever going to be high def,
right?
Because some of his makeup and everything looks a little janky.
The prosthetic, the Harry Connick, like all that stuff.
Yeah, like the missing teeth and I don't know.
Yeah, no. You might be right about that. So anyway, what I also liked about this, and this is going in a little bit more with Sigourney Weaver's performance, is how it's against type. And I think when I first saw this movie, I was expecting. I think I wanted what I was expecting. So the movie starts and it's Helen Hudson and she's giving this talk and she's confident, she's assured, she's the Sigourney Weaver we know and love, who even when like she's got a haunted refrigerator,
Ellen Mitchell,
she's still kind of in control. She's still, she makes the phone call. She does what she needs to do. But here you get that Sigourney Weaver in the very beginning of the movie. And then she's attacked. I think the marketing also kind of led you to believe that like Harry Connick Jr. was the killer they're hunting the whole time. So like all of a sudden that all happens in like the first 10 minutes. Yeah. And then the rest of the movie, it's this, traumatized. I don't want to say like just, scared and insecure because she's survived an attempt on her life by a serial killer.
A mass murderer. Yeah.
So naturally she doesn't want to go out, and she feels in danger, and she drinks a lot of wine.
Yeah. Can we talk about her apartment for a second?
Oh, her books must have sold
Great
pretty well.
90s apartment.
Yeah. Oh, wonderful.
Great 90s apartment. Not great if you're agoraphobic. And by that, I mostly mean, why is she in the middle of San Francisco still? I feel like she could have been more, like, better protected, maybe in a more inconspicuous place.
Well, and you know, John,
rather than one that has all those windows.
It's a really interesting point too, because there's a lot to be said, and they do a good job with, you know, the suspense of the apartment buildings and all that, like, you know, the elevators and whatnot.
Oh, yeah.
But there's also something very chilling about being out in the middle of nowhere and under the threat of a serial killer.
Yeah.
So that's an interesting point. But in terms of her performance, watching it this time, I appreciated that we weren't just getting like a standard Sigourney Weaver, like boss performance. And she reminds you of what a great actress she is, because like you totally believe her.
Yeah.
So I enjoyed that. I mean, what else can I say that I liked about this movie that we haven't already talked about? The kind of like the copycat thing is an interesting take. So it's a cool. Yeah, I feel like you have, you know, all of these serial killer gimmicks, and you know, it's the 7 deadly sins, so on and so forth, going on and on. You had Fallen. Oh no, Fallen was about like a demonic possession or something, like yeah.
So one of the things that we also have is, you know, Peter the killer.
Yeah.
He, you know, one of the things they talk about as kind of like the profile of this type of person is somebody who's intelligent and probably has like a, you know, a job where their intelligence is a benefit to them. And he works in a fertility clinic, and part of his plan, in addition to, paying homage to, and, you know, all these mass murderers and getting the attention of Darrell E. Cullum, as somebody who is communicating regularly with Darrell in prison, he is trying to get Darrell's semen in order to swap it out with samples in the fertility clinic, which is diabolical.
Oh yeah, right. Forgot about that. Wow.
Yeah, and so that is a really fascinating element of the whole situation. Now, what Darrell says to Helen is that he just sent him like shampoo or something, and although I don't know how he's getting things in and out of prison so easily when he's, you know, a mass murderer. But or sending letters to and from all of these people.
Yeah,
I don't know.
And none of that's being monitored or anything. Yeah, so there's that couple of little, couple of little holes here and there. Isn't there something? And you have to forgive me. It's been a few weeks since I've watched it. But wasn't there something like where he has with his wife?
So he has a wife who is bedridden,
right?
And they don't really. I mean, and I'm glad they don't tell us like what their exact deal is. I think it's best left up to the imagination.
But isn't he kind of like keeping her? It might be confusing.
Like medicating her to keep her that way.
Yeah,
he might be. I can't remember exactly, but it's he has this marriage, which I assume is to keep up the appearance of being just a normal guy. You know, he's got this house and a wife and blah, blah, blah. But like, clearly he has no affection for her. She's mostly there just to, you know, keep up appearances, I guess, but
kind of like a serial killer beard.
Yeah,
I guess.
Exactly like that.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. All right. Well, there you have it. But, yeah, it's a fun movie.
It's a lot of fun. I definitely encourage people to see it. Right now, it is the spooky season. We are on the cusp of Halloween. Perfect time to watch movies like this. It's just, it's eerie, but there's also just like great performances, and like nothing is actually like scary because it's done in a really fun way, and going into it that everything's going to turn out okay, unless you're Dermot Mulroney.
Oh, yeah. He's like, I saw In the Line of Fire. Yeah. I know what happens to guys like me in movies like this.
With names like mine.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I think it's a lot of fun to watch, and I'm glad that we did it. And also it's like, I watched this movie maybe a year ago, and when it came up to do it for this episode, I was like really glad, because it's so much fun. We're doing this series where we're going from A to Z, with movie titles, then Z to A. This is our second C movie. We are almost wrapped up with this season of the show.
We are.
And like, I feel like finishing it out on like fun bangers is the way to do it. And even though Copycat isn't like the most critically acclaimed film, it's a hell of a lot of fun to watch.
You pop your popcorn, you sit on the couch, turn off the lights, you get a couple of good jump scares in there. You have a good time. You watch a real movie.
Yeah.
It's not too long.
Well, Dan, what would you do nowadays to bring it back?
Geez, what would I do? What would I do nowadays? So, yeah, in thinking about this, I was thinking about the, that this could parlay itself well into a series where you have the kind of reluctant, agoraphobic, but brilliant serial killer profile working with the cop. And, it would make for a good procedural. However, I feel like a series of novels would be fun. These would be like fun, like good characters to follow in a series of novels. These would make great beach reads, I think. I'm thinking about you get some like a writer, like a Gillian Flynn style writer, gets their hands on just these characters and takes these characters and set it in the 90s. Why not? But kind of following these characters. And by the way, that's when you have the room to bring in a romantic subplot.
Sure.
Not a necessity, but if you are following these characters over the course of novels, it would not be unrealistic for one of them, for there to be some type of romantic something going on. It doesn't need to be central to the plot, but it could be what it is. That's where I think that's where you could fit that, but that
what, for somebody like MJ, just to have something on the side,
right. That's what and that's, by the way, that's what I'm pretty sure like Will Patton was in this movie.
Yeah.
Cause she doesn't seem too broken up about it.
Yeah.
So
got to stay warm on cold nights.
Yeah.
And then, you go to work the next morning. And that's your real passion.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, so that's where I'm going. A fun series of novels. You do a fun, like, a video game based on it, but I don't know that it would be anything different, or not that, like, the novels would be.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't like that's a nice way to carry on these characters and expand on them, elaborate on them. I mean, also, correct me if I'm wrong. This movie's written by men, directed by a man. Oh, it's co-written by Ann Biderman. So,
okay.
You know her best of she was the creator and executive producer of Southland on TNT.
Oh. Okay.
And it wasn't Sean Hatosi in that. I feel like I remember that being a Sean Hatosi jam.
I only learned this during this past year's Emmy season because it was all in the pit. It's Sean Hatosi. Which I never knew, but everybody kept on saying his name because of awards season, and he won the Emmy for The Pit. So
okay.
Sean
All right.
Hattasey.
Sean
is how you say his
Hattasey.
name.
Well, we have to go back and re-edit the Outside Providence episode.
Just every time we say Hatosi, just be like Hattasey.
Hattasey. Yeah. So
Let's get a clean read on Hattasey.
yeah. So anyway, my assumption was incorrect. We do have a female writer on the film, but wouldn't it be great to have these novels and have these lives and explored by other female writers?
Totally. Yeah.
So John, what's your plan? What are you going to copycat? What's going to happen?
Well, I do think that it would be fun, and maybe only for me, if there was to be a Copycat Lega sequel. We could call it Copycat. But essentially going off the idea that Darrell Lee Cullum did not, in fact, send shampoo to Peter, but instead he did send his semen. And wouldn't you know it, 30 years later, we have the offspring of Darrell Lee Cullum all along the Bay Area. And there is a string of murders, and the DNA on the scene, the only thread that they can find is to Darrell Lee Cullum, who has since been executed. And they link things through this fertility clinic and have to try and figure out which of his dozens of offspring it could possibly be. And clearly they're all played by Harry Connick III.
Fourth, fifth.
Well, I mean, they'd all be the I don't know.
Are we just going to AI it?
No. Absolutely not. So anyway, that's my idea.
It'd be fun. It's just all like, young, like, I don't know. I guess
crooners.
I guess they'd be. Yeah, I was thinking crooners. Yeah, I'm like, who's like Michael Bublé? One of them. Like, aren't they the same age?
90s era crooner copies
playing children who would now be 30 or something.
Yeah,
years old. Oh yeah, that's interesting. I was chuckling because it made me think. Wasn't there that Vince Vaughn movie about that where like he goes like he donates all this sperm and then he meets all the kids and.
Right. This would be the thriller version of that.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Yeah, I don't know what version that was of it because I didn't see it, but
I didn't see it either. But if any of you who are tuning in have ideas of how you would want to revisit Copycat, email us at ruinedchildhoodspod@gmail.com. Check out ruinedchildhoodspod.com for more fun. And, we are, like I said, wrapping up our third season, and our next movie, of course, is our second and final B movie, but not a B movie, not a B
not
movie.
the B movie.
Not the B movie, not a B movie. But Dan, what is our next B movie?
Well, it's a big one, John. It's big. Mm-hmm. It's big. 1988, directed by Penny Marshall, starring Tom Hanks, Elizabeth Perkins, Jared Rushton, David Moscow, Robert Loggia, John Hurd, Mercedes Rule. Who Mercedes rules?
Totally. Who totally Mercedes rules. It's a classic.
And have you noticed?
I feel like I feel like this is maybe the most like I don't know, low-hanging fruit movie we could possibly do.
Of course, but why not? Why not? Like,
why not?
It was bound to happen eventually. Mm-hmm. We're here at B. We've also adopted this sub-trend of single-title films for, like, this last stretch.
That is true.
I guess started... Oh, no, because we did Electric Horseman for E.
Okay, but Darkman, Copycat,
right.
Big, and then...
And, well, Free Jack...
Let's just say our A movie...
Free Jack before that.
And what we did Free Jack.
Like, what did we do for G? Giant before that.
Mm-hmm.
And then, no, that was
Harry and the Hendersons. So that's
multiple words. And our I don't know how you would have, I'll just put it this way. We had something else we were going to do for E. We rightfully pivoted to tribute Robert Redford, but you potentially could have considered that a one-word title. Iffy.
Debatable.
Iffy.
Anyway,
iffy,
but no one will ever know.
Big. It's big. Get out your giant keyboards. Practice Heart and Soul.
With Robert Loggia.
Your wish has been granted. We're talking about big. Get your Minute Maid orange juice like Robert Loggia would want you to do. And enjoy.
Yeah, well, Dan, oh geez, I'm having trouble figuring out one for this, but as you are, I guess, just tracking down a serial killer, I wish you a good journey.
Good journey.